Welcome to Alma Tales Lovers, where disrespect gets exposed and humiliation doesn't get the last word. These are the stories of wives and girlfriends who try to shame their husbands and boyfriends in public, weaponize family and friends, and treat love like a power game, until the calm comeback rewrites everything. If you've ever been embarrassed, talked down to, or made to feel less than by the person who should protect you, this channel is for you. Subscribe and turn on notifications for raw, realistic humiliation stories with quiet receipts, cold consequences, and hard lessons. Because respect isn't optional. Let's get into it. Monica kept saying it like it was math, like the right numbers made the wrong thing acceptable. The timing makes sense, she told me, smoothing her sweater over her stomach with a practiced smile. We were in our kitchen in Charlotte, sunlight on the counter, cereal bowls still out like we were a normal couple. Lots of women don't test positive right away, she added, voice syrup sweet. I nodded, because arguing with a story someone's rehearsed is like trying to wrestle smoke. Instead of fighting, I watched. Because when timing is used as a shield, there's always something behind it. The truth is, I wanted to believe her. I really did. We've been married for 6 years. We had a rhythm. Work, church on Sundays, my mom's cookouts, her Saturday brunches with friends. But for the past few months, Monica had been slippery. Not in an obvious way, in a way that made you doubt your own instincts. Late client dinners, a new passcode on her phone, perfume at odd hours, a sudden obsession with privacy. When she told me she was pregnant, she said it like a victory. I congratulated her like a husband. Inside, a quiet alarm started ringing. If you've ever had to choose peace over chaos, subscribe. This appointment scene is unreal. It wasn't just the timing. It was the way she tried to control it. Monica insisted on choosing the clinic. Monica insisted I take off work. Monica insisted we go early, less crowded, she said, like she was managing an operation. She even practiced what she'd say to the doctor. I'll tell them my last cycle was weird, she told me, laughing too hard like it was cute. We'll get a due date, and everything will calm down. Calm down. That phrase was told to her. She wasn't talking about the baby. She was talking about me, like I was the problem to handle. I'm not a loud man. I work in operations, processes, schedules, deliveries. I believe in evidence, not feelings dressed up as facts. So I started collecting little details the way I track inventory. Monica's calendar entries, her girls' night receipts, the way she stepped outside to take calls and came back with her face too smooth. One night, while she slept, her phone lit up on the nightstand with a message preview. No full text, just 3 words. Are you sure yet? The sender name was saved as Tasha, but the number didn't match any Tasha I knew. I didn't grab the phone. Olmi might have. I used to think love meant proving you weren't suspicious. But suspicion doesn't ask permission. It just sits in your chest and waits. Instead, I took a screenshot of the notification from my own phone by snapping a quick photo, timestamp included, then I put my phone back down like nothing happened. The next day, I searched the number on my lunch break and found it linked to a man named Darren Price, a personal trainer at a gym across town. Monica didn't go to that gym. Not officially. Still, I told myself I could be wrong. People reuse numbers. Search results can be messy. But the pieces started fitting in a way that made my stomach go cold. Monica had started going on walks in the evening, always dressed like she might run into someone important. She started taking selfies that she never posted. And she started saying strange things about my schedule. Are you working late Tuesday? She'd ask casually. Will you be home Friday? Like she was organizing the house around my absence. When she announced the appointment date, she didn't ask if it worked. She declared it like a deadline. The night before the clinic visit, Monica stood in the bathroom doorway, brushing her hair with slow, deliberate strokes. Tomorrow is going to be beautiful, she said. A new start. I watched her in the mirror. Her eyes didn't look like joy. They looked like strategy. She sat beside me in bed and rested her hand on my chest like she was claiming property. I need you with me, she whispered. I need us to be solid. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was backwards. Solid people don't demand solidity. They live it. I kissed her forehead anyway. Then I barely slept. Morning came bright and sharp. The clinic lobby smelled like sanitizer and soft music. Couple sat with folders, some nervous, some excited. Monica squeezed my hand too tight. Her nails dug in like she was anchoring herself to me. "Remember," she said under her breath, "we're fine." I nodded, eyes scanning the room. My mind kept returning to her phrase, "The timing makes sense." People who tell the truth don't need to argue the calendar. They don't need to build a defense before anyone attacks. But Monica was already in court, giving closing statements. I hadn't even asked a question yet. At the reception desk, the nurse asked Monica standard questions. Monica answered too fast. "Last menstrual period?" About 10 weeks, she said, glancing at me like I was supposed to nod along. "Any previous pregnancies?" "No." "Any medical concerns?" "No." Her voice had that bright edge that shows up when someone is trying to sound normal. When we sat down, she leaned close and whispered, "Don't make this weird, Elias." I stared ahead. "I'm not making anything," I said quietly. "I'm just here." Monica smiled like she'd won something, then opened her phone and typed quickly, tilting the screen away from me. A nurse called her name. Monica jumped like she'd been tapped on the shoulder by guilt. We walked down a hallway of framed posters and closed doors. The exam room was clean and too bright. Monica perched on the edge of the exam bed, swinging her feet like a child trying to look innocent. I sat in the chair, folder on my lap. The nurse took blood pressure, asked a few questions again, and left. Monica exhaled dramatically. "See," she said. "Simple." She looked at me like she expected me to apologize for doubting her. I didn't. I just watched her hands. They wouldn't stay still. When the doctor came in, a calm woman with kind eyes, Monica's whole body changed. Her shoulders relaxed into performance mode. "Hi," Monica said brightly. "We're so excited." The doctor smiled and asked about dates and symptoms. Monica gave her the same 10-week story. The doctor nodded and flipped through the chart. "We'll do an ultrasound today," she said, "and we'll talk about estimated gestational age." Monica glanced at me with that told-you look. She wanted me convinced before facts arrived. That was the thing about Monica. She didn't want truth. She wanted agreement. The doctor asked, "Any reason you're uncertain about dates?" Monica hesitated. "My cycle was weird," she said quickly. The ultrasound tech arrived, and Monica's smile tightened. I watched her like I was watching a play where I already knew the twist, but needed to see how the actors handled it. The tech dimmed the lights and started the scan. Monica held my hand again, suddenly affectionate. The monitor flickered with shapes I didn't fully understand. The tech's face stayed neutral, but her eyes narrowed in concentration. Monica whispered, "What do you see?" The tech didn't answer right away. She measured, clicked, measured again. The room was quiet except for the machine's soft hum. Then the tech said, gently, "I'm going to have the doctor take a look." Monica sat up a little. "Is something wrong?" she asked, voice high. The tech smiled politely. "Not necessarily. We just like the provider to confirm measurements." Monica's fingers tightened around mine. I didn't squeeze back. My heartbeat slowed into something steady and cold. Because I'd heard that line before, years ago, when my sister's pregnancy was being dated. Measurements don't lie the way people do. The doctor returned, studied the screen, and asked the tech to recheck a few angles. Monica started talking fast, filling silence with noise. "Maybe I ovulated late," she said. "I told you my cycle was weird." The doctor held up a hand gently. "Let's look at the numbers." The doctor pointed at the measurement on the screen. "Based on what we're seeing, this looks closer to 6 weeks," she said calmly. Monica blinked hard. "No," she said, almost laughing. "That can't be right. I'm 10 weeks. We counted." The doctor's voice stayed even. Ultrasound dating early on is usually pretty accurate. There could be a small margin, but not typically a 4-week difference. Monica's face drained of color, so quickly it looked like a filter was turned off. She forced a smile. "Okay, so maybe my counting was off." The doctor nodded. "It happens," she said, but she looked at Monica carefully now, like she was hearing something else under the words. Monica tried to recover. She reached for my hand with sudden desperation. "See," she whispered, "it still makes sense." But it didn't, because 6 weeks didn't match the we-counted story Monica had been selling. 6 weeks landed in a window where I wasn't even home. I'd been in Chicago for a week helping with a warehouse transition. Long days, late nights, constant calls. Monica had insisted she couldn't come because of deadlines. I remember calling her from the hotel, hearing laughter in the background that she said was TV. I believed her because belief was easier than doubt. Now, the calendar snapped into place like a mousetrap. Comment one question if you already see where this is going. The doctor began explaining next steps, prenatal vitamins, follow-up visits, lab work. Monica nodded like a bobblehead, smiling too brightly. I could see her mind racing, rearranging lies to match new facts. And then I did something I hadn't planned to do out loud. I wasn't trying to embarrass her. I was trying to stop being manipulated by a story. My voice came out calm, almost polite. "Doctor," I said, "can I ask one question?" Monica's head whipped toward me. Her eyes widened, warning me without words. The doctor looked over with a friendly smile. "Of course." I held Monica's gaze for a second, then looked at the doctor. "If the ultrasound shows about 6 weeks," I said, "and the father hasn't been physically with the mother within that time frame, would the timeline still make sense?" The room didn't just get quiet. It got still, like air stopped moving. Monica's hand slid off mine as if it suddenly burned. The tech froze near the machine. The doctor's expression changed. Not judgment, not shock, just careful attention. She glanced from me to Monica and back again. Monica's mouth opened slightly, then closed. No sound came out. She stared at the wall like it had answers. That silence told the truth louder than any confession. The doctor cleared her throat softly. "When you say the father hasn't been physically with her," she said gently, "are you saying you and your wife have been apart?" Monica snapped her eyes to me, pleading without words. "Don't." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I stated a fact. "I was out of state," I said, "for work." Monica's breathing turned shallow. The doctor's tone stayed professional. "Okay," she said quietly. "Then yes, if there was no intercourse within the conception window, the pregnancy would not be attributed to that partner." Monica flinched as if the word window had slammed shut on her. Monica tried to laugh, but came out broken. "This is ridiculous," she said. "Elias is being dramatic." The doctor didn't react emotionally. She just asked, "Monica, do you feel safe at home?" Monica froze again. That question landed differently than Monica expected. It wasn't about blame. It was about reality. Monica shook her head quickly. Yes, I'm safe. He's just suspicious." The doctor nodded slowly, eyes steady. "I see." Then she said, carefully, "Would you like to speak privately?" Monica looked at me like she wanted permission to escape. I stood. "Sure," I said. "I'll step out." Monica exhaled like a trapped person getting air. But the truth doesn't disappear when you leave a room. I sat in the hallway, staring at a poster about prenatal care, feeling oddly calm. My heart hurt, but my mind was finally clear. This wasn't a movie twist. It was a pattern exposed by one question. I thought of the passcode, the late dinners, the weird cycle, the rehearsed confidence. Monica had been trying to use timing like a magic trick. Move your attention fast enough, and people won't see the switch. But you can't negotiate with measurements. You can't argue with a timeline that doesn't include you. After 20 minutes, the door opened. Monica came out first, eyes red, jaw clenched. The doctor followed, composed, holding a small note. "Elias," she said gently, "Monica would like some space right now." Monica walked ahead of me down the hallway like I was a stranger. In the lobby, she grabbed her purse and headed for the door without looking back. I followed at a distance, not chasing, not pleading. Outside, she finally turned. "Why would you do that in there?" she hissed. "Why would you humiliate me?" I kept my voice low. "I asked one question," I said. The silence did the rest. Monica's eyes flashed. "You always have to be right," she snapped. This is why I felt alone. That line was a familiar weapon. Blame the person you hurt for noticing. I didn't swing back. "I'm not fighting," I said. "I'm listening to reality." Monica's anger cracked into desperation. "Okay," she said quickly. "Yes, I messed up, but it happened when we were distant." I nodded once. "Distant doesn't mean unavailable," I said. She looked away. "It was one time," she whispered. I didn't argue. I didn't interrogate. I just asked who. Monica hesitated too long. Then she sighed. "Darren, she said, barely audible. The name hit like a confirmation stamp. The trainer? I asked. Monica flinched again. How do you know him? She demanded. I shrugged. Because lies leave footprints, I said. Monica's face tightened. You went through my phone? She accused. I shook my head. I watch your patterns, I said. You weren't hiding well. You were hiding loud. At home, Monica moved like she was in a hurry to build a new version of the truth. She paced, talked fast, cried, then got angry again. I didn't plan this, she insisted. The timing just happened. She kept returning to timing like it could rescue her. I went to our bedroom and opened my closet. A suitcase sat on the floor like it had been waiting. Monica stopped mid-sentence. What are you doing? She asked, voice shaking. I folded clothes carefully. I'm giving you space, I said. Monica's eyes widened with sudden panic. You're leaving me? She said, like she hadn't expected consequences to exist. I'm leaving the confusion, I said, and I'm protecting my peace. Monica grabbed my arm. Please, she whispered, don't do this. The next day, I met with an attorney named Ms. Henson. I didn't go for revenge. I went for clarity. We talked about finances, responsibility, and boundaries. You can be compassionate without being careless, she told me. She explained legal options in a calm voice. I nodded, taking notes like I was back at work tracking a shipment. Then I called my mom, not to drag Monica, not to create a family war, but to be supported by someone who loved me without conditions. My mom listened quietly, then said, Baby, you don't have to be loud to be firm. That sentence became my anchor. Monica tried a new tactic, public image. She posted a photo of us from last summer with a caption about family. People commented hearts. She showed me her phone like it was proof of love. See, she said, we can be okay. I stared at the picture. It looked like a memory, not a plan. That's not accountability, I said. Monica's face tightened. So what do you want? She demanded. I answered simple. Truth. Boundaries. And for you to stop treating me like a tool. Monica scoffed, then cried again. She was cycling through emotions like channels, hoping one would control me. But my calm wasn't indifference. It was self-respect. A week later, Darren showed up at her door. Bold, confident, like he believed Monica's marriage was a small obstacle. I saw him on the doorbell camera while I was staying at Andre's place. Monica called me in a panic. He's here, she whispered. He won't leave. I didn't rush over like a hero. I didn't threaten anyone. I said, call the police if you feel unsafe. Monica snapped. You don't care. I paused. I care, I said, but I'm not responsible for the mess you invited into your life. She went silent. That sentence hurt her because it was true. She had been using my stability like insurance. Later, Monica admitted the part she hadn't wanted to say. Darren wasn't just a mistake. He'd been around longer than she confessed. She'd been seeing him during walks, meeting him after brunch, calling him when she was stressed. She swore she was going to stop once she found out she was pregnant, because she wanted me to be the father in public, the husband in photos, the man who paid bills. Hearing that didn't make me want to scream. It made me want to detach. Because the worst betrayal isn't the act. It's the calculation. Monica didn't just cheat. She tried to assign me a role in her lie. We met again, this time at a counselor's office. Monica wanted me to work through it, but she kept trying to rewrite the timeline. The counselor asked, do you accept responsibility? Monica nodded, then immediately said, but Elias was distant. I looked at her and said, calmly, distance didn't make you choose him. You chose him. The counselor's eyebrows lifted slightly. Monica's eyes filled with tears. So you're done, she whispered. I didn't say it cruelly. I said it clearly. I'm done being an option, I replied. Monica's shoulders slumped, like she was finally realizing she couldn't negotiate someone's self-respect. That's when she stopped talking. Real quiet, no performance. The months that followed were hard but clean. I separated finances. I moved into a small apartment with sunlight and silence. I didn't drag Monica online. I didn't retaliate. I focused on rebuilding my life like a man rebuilding a house, foundation first. Monica tried to call late at night, voice soft, searching for comfort. I kept boundaries. We can communicate through lawyers, I said gently. She cried. I didn't think one question would ruin everything, she whispered once. I answered. One question didn't ruin it. It revealed it. That truth is why she couldn't argue anymore. Share this with someone ignoring red flags. The silence in that room said everything. If you're wondering what happened to the pregnancy, that part is delicate, and I'll only say this. Monica made choices, and she had to live with them without using me as cover. What I learned is simple and brutal. When someone keeps saying the timing makes sense, it's because they need you to stop asking questions. The day I asked mine, the room went silent. Not because I was dramatic, but because truth has weight. Silence is what happens when lies run out of oxygen. And the biggest karma wasn't Monica's panic. It was my peace. I didn't win her back. I won myself back. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.